Today I want to talk about log. Not like wood, but I want like log footage. I'll show you what I mean. What is up, guys? Nick Friend. Thanks for coming back once more. It's good to see your smiling faces again. That was a straight up ripoff of Peter McKinnon. All right, so today I actually want to talk about log footage. And the reason I want to talk about this is because somebody brought it up to me the other day that color grading on DSLRs and other mirrorless cameras that shoot log is a little bit difficult because of the codec. He's right. 8-bit codecs, by and large, are not very accessible for shooting log footage, but I believe there are some ulterior benefits for shooting in log, and it purely comes down to getting the detail. You might not be able to push it as far as you want, but you can certainly push it a little bit further than you normally could if you were baking in an image. And so I wanted to express my opinions about shooting log footage and why I actually really like shooting log footage. First of all, this is actually being shot in log on a Sony a7R III. Now, I know that a Sony a7R III is not the most accessible camera for most people. It's a very expensive piece of equipment, so I wanted to do an experiment. Raise your hand if you have a cell phone. Everybody has a cell phone, right? Okay, so you can download an app called the Moment app, which is a company that makes lenses and accessories for your iPhone or your Samsung phone, or they even started doing OnePlus phones. They actually do a lot of different options for a lot of different people, and they make really quality products. For instance, I have their Moment case right here, and the really cool thing, you probably noticed, it's a little bit odd, it has a lens mount on it, and the reason it has a lens mount is because of these guys. What this is actually a lens that goes on my phone. It's really stuck in there. Anyway, so it's actually really cool. You mount it just with a little bayonet mount. It just clips on just like that. And there you go, a beautiful piece of glass that you have on your cell phone. And one of the reasons I want to talk about shooting log on your phone is because it's way more accessible than buying a $3,000 camera like what I'm shooting on right now. The app, in order to get those pro features, is what, like $4? So $4, $3,000, the accessibility is certainly there. And so now I'm going to show you a little bit of an example of some log footage that I shot on the iPhone X with the Moment 58mm lens. Just so that you know, all this is 4K 24. I didn't use an ND filter. This is just straight out of the phone, straight through the app. So yeah, enjoy. Okay, so yeah, that's basically the kind of footage that you can get from a phone and an extra lens that I use, but you don't necessarily need to use the lens. It's through the app that shoots in logs. I want to show you a process that I use to sort of correct log footage, not necessarily grade it or stylize it, but just, sort of correct it. And so the first thing that I always do is I look at the clip and I figure out where my darkest blacks are and where my highest whites are. And I make sure that those get as close to the top and bottom on my waveform as possible. That's just kind of my rule of thumb. Make sure that all of the blues, reds, and greens are touching the top and the bottom, or at least as close as possible before you start losing detail. Basically, after that, it's all personal preference. You can do special things with skin tones to do things you like to get more accurate skin tones. You can do certain things to your shadows to get a nice vintage look. You can do color hues. You can do all these crazy different things to get the thing to look exactly the way you want it to look. But essentially after that, it's all up to you. Another thing that I would say is that you're also gonna wanna pay attention to your contrast and your saturation. The level of saturation that you can get inside of a log image varies very greatly because, for instance, Sony has a tendency to take out a lot more saturation than, say, Canon or Nikon. But Panasonic typically has a little bit more of a saturated log footage image. I've noticed that when I was editing Panasonic footage. And also, don't forget that you can get footage a lot similar to this on your phone. Don't forget about that. The resource is there. You need to use it. They're amazing. Anyways, I'll see you next week. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.